Don't call it a comeback.
I've been here for years. So what's up, Jellies? It's been eons. This is a new stream between me and Basil, not the herb. Today, we're pretty much talking smack while doing our own individual little things. And the theme is, has the internet gotten worse? Yes.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's very much how I'm gonna open mine here in a second too. It's like yes, it has, and here's why.
yep. Cause like I hate 4chan, but they were low key spitting when they made the death of the internet theory. Cause holy shit, that is the only time that I
Uh,
will say that 4chan was right about something.
yeah, well, I mean, it's literally the example of the worst person you know is right about something.
And I hate it here.
I'm gonna go ahead and get my intro started on my end, if you don't mind.
I don't mind.
Okay. And hello, everybody, fellow adventurers and survivors of post capitalism. Welcome! It is Basil, not the herb, in my fancy little tavern, and I am joined by a mutual friend of ours. We've got Jayla. I, d- I don't know how to say the other thing, so why don't you tell them how dumb
Cephidae.
I am?
You're not
Cephidae,
dumb.
a fellow VTuber, someone who I have been interacting with ever since I really started doing VTuber stuff. You want to holler at people, tell them who you are and what you do.
Oh hi. Let's see. I'm a mutant jellyfish YouTuber who likes to variety stream while doing media analysis, more or less. Is it analysis or is it just me talking shit? There's a fine line. There's a fine line.
I
We'll find
I,
out
I
today.
disagree. I disagree, and this is how we're literally gonna have our first VTuber beef. I don't think there is a line between it. I think it's just opinions. Opinions are king, and I have the best ones.
It's talking smack intellectually.
And as Jayla has said on their end, because we are both streaming this at the same time, if we
Mm-hmm.
were smart, we would have done the double stream. Thanks, hon. My wife just messaged and said, "Fight,
Oh my god.
throw hands."
Also hi.
Uh, so if we were smart, we would have tried out that like whole Twitch stream together feature, but like neither of us thought of it.
Oh yeah. I don't even know how to do
So
that.
we're that's completely fine. By the way, my wife is betting on you beating me, which is smart. Like it's why I married them. They are very correct in thinking you can kick my ass.
I guess it depends on the situation. I haven't fought anybody. Actually, what kind of fighting are we doing? I haven't fought in years. That's what I think
Well,
we'll
you
do
know
something
what?
like that.
I think
Think
we're
about
gonna
it.
be doing that into fight of the intellectuals of the mind because we are gonna talk about has the internet gotten worse?
Yes.
And we both agree, yes. Mine is within the very nerdy spaces of just the games and the people I interact with.
Hmm.
Obviously, I think it goes without saying if you're paying attention at all to the greater wide world, things have been bad for a while. So this isn't news by any stretch of the imagination.
Hmm.
Um, but I'm coming from the angle of the games I play and the media that I consume,
Hmm.
and more importantly, the way that people are reacting to that stuff. It has gotten more vitriolic
Hmm.
and less fun. But I want to start this off by having you go ahead and speak your piece first on where do you come from where you feel the internet has gotten worse?
Let's see. I say that the functionality of the internet is becoming worse. Earlier I mentioned dead internet theory, which is pretty much the idea that profit motive is causing the internet to become like more condensed and using bots in order to generate attention and stuff is going to artificiate our interactions with folks because remember the whole bot issue with Twitter, we didn't know if we were actually interacting with folks or not because they were starting to learn our language and stuff. And on top of just other stuff like the destruction of archives, because you see this with the attack on the Internet Archive. We see this with everybody trying to condense internet spaces by getting rid of children's spaces and adult spaces because, Club Penguin is gone, Flash games are gone, the Cartoon Network website is officially gone.
I mean, Cartoon Network is just straight up dead.
Yeah, and it really pissed me off when people are like, Cartoon Network isn't dead. They isn't dead. They still got employees, and I'm like, if the majority of the employees are gone and the physical building is gone, then it's dead, guys. Like, I
I
don't
mean,
know.
but Bungie's going through the same thing. Like they still have their building, but most of their workforce is either fired or Sony is engulfing them into their mass.
Mhm.
So Bungie is dead by all intents and purposes.
Mhm.
So
And
it's the same thing.
like streaming has really put a number. Oh, I almost sneezed. Streaming has really put a number onto several platforms, and then even from an adult perspective, you've heard about like the attack on sex workers when it comes to, because look at Gumroad and how they got rid of NSFW and how,
Hmm.
and that's like a whole complicated thing in of itself. It's mainly folk, like to summarize it from what I've researched, it's just companies not wanting to pay money to keep people safe because like it does take a lot of labor and resources in order to do that. Like I think about Tumblr and the NSFW ban of October 2018, and the CEO once did like an extensive blog about like all of the factors that went into all of that. How the first thing was that they don't have the money to be doing all of that, which I think is sad because Tumblr was such a big ass site. But then I remember how they said that they were trying to get bought out by Yahoo or whatever, and folks were like, let's make this site as unprofitable as possible. And I get that, how you don't want a site under corporate control, but unless you're willing to make up for the lost cash, I feel like you shouldn't be doing that.
Hmm.
Like, if you're not going to donate to help maintain the site, then you should not um, take away a site's chances of having sponsorships and stuff. Like, everybody hates corporate control, but nobody wants to pay anybody's bills. And,
No. What's fascinating about that aspect of it too, right, is that like some people could say like, "Oh, are you telling me that you want me to pay for the blue check mark?" It's like anyone who thinks that you're misinterpreting the idea that X and Twitter is not exactly giving you value if you give them money. They're actively chasing their own advertisers away. But from the sound of it, with Tumblr, it's if you paid a very minimal membership to have like better access to what Tumblr gave
mm-hmm,
while also confirming you're an adult and you like it's I know that people would spin this wrong, but it kind of is what needs to be done. It's just like, are you an adult? Yes, says a child. Do you want to look at man and or woman titties? Yes. Give us your credit card number. It's like, oh man.
oh man. And, I feel like and I'm an unpopular group, I feel, because like a lot of people are like, well, how are we supposed to advertise our stuff? And I'm like, well, that's kind of the problem, right? The fact that profit motive, I'm not saying that sex workers like in NSFW artists, because I don't consider NSFW artists or to be sex workers. That's not the same, and it kind of be getting
I
off.
would agree. That's
It's
a completely different like that's it's related, but it is not. It's
it's
very
not the
reckless
same.
to say they are one to
You're
one.
not selling your own ass. You're selling pixelated ass. It's not the same. Um,
Yeah.
and like it pisses me off whenever people like hold themselves in the same regard because like okay, um, so in the future I'm gonna be having a discussion with somebody about like fandom censorship and pro-ship and whatnot. And one of the things that we're gonna talk about is archive of our own. And something that I noticed in a lot of conversations about like pro shipping is how people are like, well, if you're for censorship of sites like Archive of Our Own, you're anti sex work. And I'm like, there are no sex workers on Archive of Our Own. Like
That
they're
sounds so crazy to me. Like, no,
because
that's
pretty much the idea is that censorship is rooted in anti-sex work sentiment, but like the censorship of fandom works is not the same. It's not. Um, the attack on sex work in like the United States has a very extensive history that's gone on since like Western expansion, and a lot of it is actually racially motivated and stuff. I can like send a video from Intellectual because like she's this YouTuber who does a lot of history things, and she talks a lot about the history of that field with different sub aspects of it. But she's also talked about like pop culture through the decades, specifically African American Black culture and pop culture through the decades and stuff. And she had like a whole video of it. That's not the same as people having pissing matches over like what kind of shipping content should be allowed on the fan fiction site. Like, you're a fanfic writer, you're doing this for free. Most of the time, you're doing this for free because like Creative Commons and stuff, it kind of requires you to do it for free. On top of the
yeah.
fact that you're not putting your body on the line to do it, so I don't hold that in the same regard. But and I get where people are getting it from because it's just like censorship is a slippery slope, but I personally don't think it is because whenever people use censorship as like a quote unquote Trojan horse to hurt marginalized people, they tend to be very upfront with that in their language. But maybe because I know what a dog whistle is and how it works, it's kind of obvious to me.
Well, and when it comes to like stuff like that, like one of my big pet peeves with a lot of people is just the idea that they're not explaining the context of what's going on.
Hmm.
Like, I can't, like, the more serious something of a talking point gets, the more I very much am the okay, cool. I've heard your side, but what's the bigger picture? Where is this coming from?
What are the undertones?
Because
What do you really mean?
yeah, like I think a good example I can give with this is just whenever you hear. Oh no, my brain just lost something. I will try to explain this differently. Like, it's one thing to say like, "Oh my god, I just hate milk so much." Just it's I hate how it tastes and all this other shit you say about milk. And someone's like, "Oh, well, is there like is it a subjective issue, or is it like like is milk bad for you?" It's like, "Oh, it's so bad for you. You can tell by the taste." Someone comes up and goes, "That is factually incorrect. Where are you getting this information from?" It's
Hmm.
like, we are willing to listen to why you say you don't like milk, but the context is you're a piss baby who's complaining about something you don't like versus, oh, an actual problem.
Well, I will say
To
milk
go
right
into
now. Are you about to talk about the H5N1 flu and how that's being transmitted through certain dairy companies and stuff right now because of poor
I'm
regulation?
sorry, what? I literally was using milk as an analogy because my original idea left me. What?
Okay, so there's been a recent issue because C7A in CC. I call her CC for short. How
Yeah.
she does a lot of online information when it comes to health outreach and stuff, and she's been sharing around articles about tracking H5N1, and yeah, it's messed up out here. Pretty much due to poor working conditions, um, involving both the workers themselves and the cows with the kind of feed that they're being fed. It ended up with a transmission of like bird flu from the animal feed to the dairy cows and stuff. And some dairy farms have been trying to keep hush hush about it. And now,
Oh, that's fantastic.
the U.S. is silently preparing for like another pandemic with H5N1 because they know they fucked up. They know they fucked up. We're
So
dealing
not
with
only
we're dealing with COVID continuation, H5N1, and also monkeypox. But now it's being called
yeah.
mpox because Congo is being scapegoated for the outbreak, even though it's a couple of countries' fault for not giving them the proper medication of it because the U.S. and like 5 other countries pretty much have a monopoly over the vaccines of it. So we're starting to call it mpox because calling it monkeypox and it's coming from a black country, that's going to be weaponized, and we don't need that
Yeah,
again.
that's just that is like it's very much in the same mindset of like I love the idea of like how everyone says lizard brain instead of monkey brain. It's like we know
Mhm.
what you mean when you say lizard brain, but we also know why you're not saying monkey brain.
Mhm.
Like
Because it
it's
could get out
just
of
kind of
hand so quickly.
necessary. Mm-hmm. So learned that today.
Yeah.
Great. Thank God I haven't. I don't regularly drink milk anymore, but got to learn that today.
Mhm.
Um, going back to the original topic of oh no, what were we originally talking about before
Let's
we
see.
started talking about poisoned milk?
Before we started talking about poison milk, we talked about censorship. Before that, we talked
Yeah,
about needing to. If you don't want corporations involved in your websites, then you need to be willing to give to the website in order to make it run. Because, like, that's how Archive of Our Own runs. That's how Wikipedia runs. That's now. There's this one site that I always keep like advocating for called Inkblot because I love Inkblot. I just need them to upgrade their literacy. Like, I think that everybody should just steal the code for. Well, it wouldn't be stealing because it's actually public domain. Archive of Our Own's coding is public domain for anybody to use because that's like a part of their ideals of not wanting to quote unquote gatekeep transformative stuff. So like, I feel like the folks who complain about it, and it's a rightful complaint because fuck that site. Uh, fuck that site. I I will pull a Martin Luther about that site right now if it wasn't for the fact. No, cause like if it wasn't for the fact that I'm into Golden Kamuy right now. Oh hey Oxy, how's it going? I'm having a great stream. I just gotta
uh,
find something. If it wasn't for the fact that I'm into Golden Kamuy and most of the Ogatha fics that I like are on that site, like I'm not gonna sit here and act like I'm above certain things because even with that site's problems, it still has some useful services. You're at work slaving and stuff, so yeah. Oh no, Harriet Tubman did not fight for that.
God.
Set the job on fire.
I mean, we kind of need to do that countrywide. Like, there's
Set the
so
job
much
on
shit
fire.
going on.
Set the job on fire.
But going back to what you were saying about with Archive of Our Own and wanting to sort of just they want to keep a space where you can hold creativity, like you're not going to be restricted. But it's so fucking true. Like I was literally watching this one video discussing about like how a bunch of different conservative focused sites keep
Mhm.
trying. I mean literally, there's several of
Oh,
them
thanks for
that
the
keep
subscription.
trying to create these spaces where real free speech can be done and you won't have to worry about getting canceled. And then, like you just said, like the sites are so expensive to run that if there is no way of getting advertisers and
Hmm.
no one who on those sites actually wants to give money because what? Maybe not a hot take, but I've noticed that like from my perspective, a lot of the angriest people on the internet like get very tired. It is like a child or an old person who's just yelling at the clouds
Hmm.
until eventually they just get so tired that they want to go to sleep. And
Yeah.
if you put like a pay button in front of them, they will very quickly just go, oh fuck this, and go somewhere else to bitch
Yeah.
and moan about things.
Yeah, because they don't want to contribute with certain stuff. Now, Archive of Our Own does be pissing me off though, because like, okay, um, those fundraisers and seeing how much money that people are willing to like donate for some fanfic. And
Mm-hmm.
this isn't to say that people shouldn't be investing in their interests and shit, but like there's like this general idea that media consumption in of itself is radical, and that's how you know how bad times have gotten, where people think that consuming things in of itself is radical, even though that's fucking stupid. Um, because like no, you reading Bakudeku fan fiction is not the same as throwing a brick at Stonewall, actually. But
No, it
no,
really
it's not the
isn't.
same. You don't go here. You don't know about
They
that.
don't even go to skull hair.
Like I don't understand. But like that's how bad things have gotten, where people would rather like um quote unquote organized through media consumption than actually being productive. Because I'm like, I've seen people asking for food all the time, asking for their rent to be paid. There are refugees like literally everywhere that need to be moved from one place to the other, and you mean to tell me that you paid $700 to archive of our own? Because I was seeing screenshots of like donors and stuff. Because like you could be anonymous or have your name attached to it, but they'll show the amounts during the fundraiser, and I'm like, what? And they made their goal like 4 times over this year. I can't
See,
respect people. I can't respect
no,
people.
and like
Seven
this is
hundred
what
dollars.
and like this is where like the context are this is actually kind of perfect now with the context thing I was mentioning before is that uh you can make the argument of, oh, but like everyone's got their own context, everyone's got their own like reason for spending money. I'm gonna be honest, like you mentioned, there are people who are starving or are being displaced, they don't have a home, all these awful things, and most of these projects and these groups who are trying to help these people are only asking for like gas money from like a bunch of people. Like
Mhm.
if like thousands of people gave the equivalent of their gas money a paycheck, like you're able to do a lot with that.
Mhm. And
Then
to
you've
me,
got then you've got something where it's like, oh well, I'm gonna make this like I just spent like I'm now paying off a new phone, and
mhm.
I'm going to be paying like $70 a month to pay off this phone. But then when you get the chance to see how you can help, spending another 50 instead of on a video game, but instead on like this good cause is like, oh, okay, no, this will be good. And I've always had this idea of people have lost this weird like concept of decency where just doing a good, this might be naive of me, but I was raised and I held on to the idea of doing a good thing is reward in its of itself. Like I
Mhm.
get to feel good that sure, I spent $50 on my dumbass gotcha game, but I also spent $50 to feed the homeless. I can feel pretty good that I like balanced myself out on that.
Yeah.
But then, like you said, you've got a motherfucker who somehow spends $500 on fan fiction. And I'm just like, buddy, I feel gross when I have to spend that to upgrade my computer,
Oh, I don't.
which I use for both my work and my entertainment.
I
How
don't
are
feel
you
gross.
just.
If I got the money, like, okay, here's my thing, right? I kind of don't care what people spend in order to indulge themselves. My problem is when people treat indulgence as a radical action. And like I
Yeah.
bring up Archive of Our Own because like whenever people unconditionally support it despite the many problems that it has community wise and stuff, people always bring up, oh, they are the bastion against queer censorship or whatever and da 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 da. And I'm just like, there are queer authors that literally have to struggle to get their foot in the door for traditional publishing. Y'all aren't writing anything that's really profound, and this isn't to shit on fan fiction, but I'm gonna shit on fan fiction because at the end of the day it doesn't matter how well written it is, it's still derivative pieces that are given praise to predominantly mainstream media. And this is coming from somebody who writes this shit right. I'm literally writing Golden Kamuy because there's not enough Golden Kamuy fan fiction, and I'm like both grateful and sad for it. Like on one hand, I don't have a lot of content of my favorite characters, but on the other hand, I can't trust people about this show because I've already seen some doujin with some really weird premises, and I'm like, you have to be slaughtered. I'm glad that the fandom is small. Like it's big enough
but
for
like,
me to see a fucking Friday Night Funkin' mod, but it's not big enough for me to like see see ships that I really hate and I feel like shouldn't exist. So I gotta I just gotta take the L. I gotta take the L. But like
and see, that's
this,
that's what's like fascinating. Even then, is just because like you have this franchise that like can do good, and it's like you said, hey, it's fine if you're spending money on these weird pairings that I do not like. Do not get on your high horse shortly after and go, I am a part of the artistic creative process.
that and also like okay, pretty much is not your consumption is not activism. Media consumption is not activism. That's pretty much it. And people are like,
Mm-hmm.
well, you're advocating for certain stuff to not exist in the name of morality and stuff. Isn't that treating it? And I'm like, no. I'm saying that it makes me uncomfortable and therefore it needs to die. I'm not gonna like I will do some moral grandstanding on things because to me, I think that as artists, even if we are like even if we are praising mid, we need to practice social responsibility with the media that we create because media is a form of communication and it doesn't exist within a vacuum and and
Mm-hmm.
it can have an impact on people, so people do need to be responsible with the stuff that they put out. But um I'm not gonna sit here and say that the media that like I'm not gonna sit here and say that I'm like a revolutionary for consuming the media that I like because to me like to me it's more about like opening your wallets and supporting creators than it is about like engaging with things. Like yeah, you can look at somebody's fan art and give them a like, but are you gonna give them like $2? To me I care more about like material things than simply looking at things. Although liking does help because it does give them more notoriety and stuff. So let me rephrase that.
Yeah.
It's not enough to just look at stuff. It's about actually putting forth steps to help creators succeed. And to me, consumption on its own isn't very effective. Like, are you sharing the thing that you're watching? Because you know how some people they like to gatekeep media and stuff. I'm trying more so to talk about the things that I like, and it's not even because I had this idea of gatekeeping stuff before. It was more like, it's hard for me to express myself positively because growing up, I was in environments where I was like shat on for being enthusiastic about things. So it became like physically hard for me to express my like of things because it's just like, oh, nobody's gonna give a fuck or somebody's gonna call me annoying. Why would I say anything, right? And it kind of got bad because then the only thing that I would express is talking shit. And even though I could do it in a funny way, I end up being characterized as this hyper negative person when it's just like, no, I'm really not as negative as I can be because there's a lot of shit that I can say that is straight up degrading. But because nobody has that frame of reference, they don't know how much I'm holding back with certain stuff. So I used to be an angrier person a couple of years back. Like, holy fuck. Did I ever
And
tell you about that one time I made fun of a dude for losing custody of his son because he called me a slur? Like, I
okay,
could be
but
very
okay,
mean.
listen. I understand, but like, in my brain, I literally went from, wait, why would you call me a slur? Ah, never mind.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not at the point, at least not anymore, where I can justify myself doing that if someone like is mean to me directly and then
Mm-hmm.
saying some heinous shit. But on the other hand, it's like I'm not going to tell anyone else not to. Like that man said something very heinous. Like I'm or better I think the better way of putting it is I'm at a point in my life where I won't say the shit out loud, but I will think it very loudly in my head.
Mm-hmm. Well,
And
now
if I get pushed hard enough, I will start barking.
I am at the point where, let's see, I can say it professionally.
Like you can hide it under like a code of
Yeah,
like professional terms.
yeah. It's like lawyer speak. I could do that. Or
Oh,
sometimes I
it's so
pose it in the form
good.
of a question because, like, okay, one time, right? Um, so we had an internship program. We had an internship program this summer, and there was this one person, this one intern. He was in high school, and he has no sense of fucking decorum. I low key worry about him because, like, it's very clear that he's never been in a professional setting or been in a setting where he's like, I don't know his background because he has no fucking tact when it comes to certain things. Because my coworker, she had to tell him that you can't be roasting people at work, especially people that you just met. It was just like, well, that's how I make friends, and it's just like that's not how you make friends. You do roasting
Okay,
after you've made friends. Like my thing is, you don't roast somebody until after you've made friends with them. You don't open up with that because if somebody
you
doesn't know you, you'll get knocked the fuck out.
I've had this same, and this helps actually refocus the conversation on like like why I feel
Internet,
like the
the way that
internet
people open up a conversation.
is
Like I
just
could be saying
not.
good morning and
Oh
somebody is just
god.
like, open your ass, and it's like, no, kill yourself.
Uh, the example I can give is that there is this one friend of mine, and I feel confident calling each other. We're the friends where we get on each other's fucking nerves a lot.
Mm-hmm.
However, we genuinely feel like we're getting something socially and mentally out of the interaction. It's like, now this is a friend. Only a friend could piss me off this much,
Mm-hmm.
but then also make me agree with them.
Mm-hmm.
and one of the things that we've explored together is the idea that like they're coming from like being very antisocial. The only interaction with another human being they've interacted with outside of like work is playing League of Legends.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to like not only that, but I'm 31. Like I'm getting to the point where I can say I'm an old man, I'm an old head. Like I'm getting there.
Mm-hmm.
And there are points where I'm looking at these teenagers and these 20 somethings and like listen, like I was a shitty 20 something. Like that I have a past where I'm not proud of, never did nothing illegal that can be proved, but
Mm-hmm.
I was morally a shitter. And I'm looking at these kids and I'm just like, you guys have all the tools and all of the ability and all of the knowledge since my generation is like looking at you and trying to calmly explain you don't have to hate everything. You don't have to insult everything. And in fact, it's not cringe to be genuine. It's actually very based, as the kids say. It's very fucking real to
But you
just
know,
be real.
I feel like that's half and half, right? I said that's
Mm-hmm.
half and half. I feel like the previous generation, there are adults who are trying to do that, but there are a lot who aren't
Yes. Oh
because
God,
like okay,
yes.
look at the trends with I hate Twitter when it comes to TikTok because folks on Twitter would talk so much shit about TikTok, and this isn't to say that TikTok isn't a hellhole, but it's just like okay, y'all would take videos of people minding their business on TikTok and then bring them onto this also hell site to make fun of them. I just oh my gosh, just playing oh my god. Okay, so my playlist right now is playing Let's Pop Together from Pop Team Epic. Let's pop together.
Let,
You don't understand. So
see,
last week we had a back to school bash, which was celebrating teachers and stuff before the school year got started, and we had a '70s theme. And Let's Pop Together is literally a fucking parody of Let's Groove from Earth, Wind, and Fire. Divine timing, holy fuck.
Okay.
But
See, my freak out moment was when Magnolia Park recently did a cover of Eye to Eye from the Goof Troop movie,
uh-huh.
and I did not realize, like, I'm so dumb about this because I genuinely feel like I'm the kind of person that doesn't really fall in love with groups or bands per se. I
Hmm.
will become a fan of a handful of music and songs from certain groups, but for the most part, like, the only thing I can actually say is if it's got an electric guitar or if it's got a trumpet, I'm
Hmm.
more likely gonna love it. And like Eye to Eye is undeniably a great fucking song
Yeah,
from
Shadow
any
Powerline.
generation.
Shadow
And
Powerline.
yeah, no, for real. And then you've got this punk band with a black lead singer, and
Hmm.
they add in a little bit of that crunchy guitar, and it's still Eye to Eye. And I'm just like, why is this hitting so good?
Cause like
I
I
literally
love.
never knew I wanted Eye to Eye with an electric guitar, and
Hmm.
yet here we are.
You might like this one page on YouTube. Actually, I don't know what the page is, but I know that their segment is called like a version, like version Version, which is when different
Yeah.
artists do their own renditions and stuff. Because I've heard Kali Uchi sing "Venus as a Boy" by Bjork. I've heard Denzel Curry do his cover of Oh hey Sylvia, thank you for the head pat. Um, I've seen Denzel Curry do his cover of "Bulls on Parade" from Rage Against the Machine. I've listened to Lil Sims sing, do a cover of Gorillaz because she's actually done a collab with Gorillaz before. The first song that I've heard from Little Sims was Garage Palace, which came out after the Humans
Ooh.
album and stuff. And I love Little Sims. I gotta finish Top Boy because she's an actress in Little Sims. I gotta I gotta update sound alerts because the sound alert did not go off. But thank you for the hello there, General Kenobi. Uh, I'm doing
Um,
okay.
but yeah, so
But
like,
what was I thinking about? Oh yeah, at the back to school bash, a lot of the teachers did not get up to dance, even when we did like the line dances and the Soul Train line. And I feel like that's
mm,
because of how the internet has normalized filming people, even though you had no damn business
yes.
filming strangers. Because who the hell are you? People are not entertainment. Oh, now it worked. It's just a delay. Oh,
That's probably like one of the biggest concerns with the internet too is just the fact that like I will get some videos on TikTok or even on YouTube Shorts where it's like it's a family sharing a cute little home video family moment and it's like, "Oh, this like seems genuine, like this is kind of cute." But then you get the ones that are like clearly staged for content and I'm
yeah.
just like
Like I hate the skits
I
and
I
stuff, but
feel
my thing
so
is,
fucking grossed out from that shit.
yeah, I hate the skits and whatnot. I think it's very annoying, and I hate that people keep engaging with shit because like half the time it'd be the same stuff, copied and pasted. Like if you're gonna be
Oh yeah.
internet slop, at least be original with it.
Yeah.
Like I'm tired. I'm bored. Even like at this point, I'm just fucking bored. That's why I keep banning certain words. Like you know how every month or every week it's just like, what's a parenting opinion? What's a dating opinion? I got the words parent block. I got. Let me sit up straight. Cause no, I'm tired of like parental discourse and stuff because it's just like, and this isn't even a I can't relate because like one of my parents is neglectful, but I do have a really good mom. But my
Hmm.
dad, it's half and half with our relationship. Should I gotta call that nigga? Now that I think about it. See, this is the problem. But this is the problem. Yes, I'm gonna hydrate too. Damn. And yes, I'm gonna sit up straight and adjust my posture, Zivia. But what get on my nerves about parent discourse is that you got folks who grew up in shitty households and they think that the solution to that is promoting eugenics because I really dislike the oh if you're poor you shouldn't have kids and it's just like no shit Sherlock but do you think that poor people have a choice Like maybe your parent treated you the way that they did because despite not wanting you, they ended up having you anyways due to material. And that's like a shitty thing to say, which is why I try to stay out of stuff. But like, I need people to think. Have you considered that maybe the reason why your parent was such a piece of shit was because we live in a society that makes people have kids regardless if they're ready to or not. Can you have some pattern recognition? Y'all are literally complaining about not having Roe v. Wade, and yet you can't put it together that maybe your mother was the way she was because she didn't
Well,
have access. Like, thanks,
and
bitch.
it's infuriating on that too, because it's like we have, like, you literally are seeing
I'm gonna save this
over and
motherfucker.
over the old boomers and like the different news outlets being like, oh man, we're not gonna have enough bodies for like the future employment or for like our defenses. Meanwhile, everyone else our age is just like, you don't have enough room for the people who want jobs now. Why do you want me to have a child
Oh, they definitely
just to
have room.
sacrifice to the machine?
Well,
Like,
no, they
what?
definitely have room, right? Like,
Oh
okay,
no, they have room, but they're
they won't
pretending
give it
like they
out. They
don't.
won't give it out
Yeah.
because it's not
So it's like
profitable.
like so many of the older generation, just constant Pikachu face. It's just like, we don't have enough jobs to give to you. It's like, okay, well then if I don't have money, I'm not gonna make kids. But we need you to make kids so we can keep having labor for our jobs.
I say it's
Oh,
the
so you do
work.
have
I
jobs,
say it's the ruling
Pikachu
class.
face.
I say it's the ruling class more than it is the older generation because
Uh,
like
that's fair to say, is that, or more accurate to say, just the ruling class.
a lot of people are just like baby boomers ruined, and I'm like, okay, a lot of baby boomers did not have. Like, I don't know where the fuck are people getting baby boomers from? Because like baby boomers, what time period was that? 40s and 50s. Black people's baby boomers did not have that level of influence to be doing all of that. So if I'll be like, which baby, which one? And even then,
Yeah,
like even if you take out racial demographics and stuff, that middle class thing, yeah, it was getting big at that time due to like union efforts and whatnot. But like it only did so much. It only expanded because of like there was still union busting and among other things and whatnot. Like a lot of the economic booms that we went through was mainly due. Yes, I ate today. I ate cereal earlier, and then I ate like two chimichangas and like three Reese's and a bottle of water, and I'm drinking a Crush right now, and I'm drinking water. Zivia is making sure that I don't like collapse. Also, I got my hair done.
it genuinely sounds like, Mom, I've already eaten. I'm fine.
I'm fine. I'm living. Let me
I'm
live.
trying to stream.
Sometimes my mom be calling in the middle of the street,
Oh
and I
shit.
appreciate it because she cares. She always promotes my streams. I love my mom. Another reason
Aw.
why I stay out of like conversations about folks complaining about their parents, like I gotta fight the urge to like be like, my mom isn't like that though.
Yeah,
Like
like, cause like
I don't wanna flex on people who are venting their frustrations. Although sometimes it's
it,
funny.
it's like the opposite of, like, you're venting about something and then someone's like,
Not
well,
me
if you
though,
think
nigga.
that's bad.
Not me though. Like,
No, it's the exact opposite angle, and like you have to like kind of keep that held in.
mm-hmm,
Because like for me at least, like I like to like try to connect with people by sharing my own experience, and I'm a
mm-hmm,
little self-aware of knowing, oh, if I say this right now, it's going to sound like I'm trying to up them or disregard what they're saying.
yeah,
I'm going to have to navigate this. So that urge is like always there,
mm-hmm.
because like you're trying to relate, but your brain's like, hold on, that's not what that's going to sound like.
Oh, with me, it's more like whenever I hear people talk about like mother-daughter relationships and stuff a lot, and it be trending, and sometimes it be getting on my nerves because it's just like, and this, oh yeah, Zivia wanted to tell you, I'm not the only person that she checks on like this. She also does it with other friends. This is her procedure, but like I feel like Miles Morales in Across the Spider Verse when Miguel was just like, being Spider-Man is about suffering. I feel like Miles should just flexed on everybody. It was just like it's not my fault that all of y'all think that being Spider-Man is about being miserable. Nigga, I got both of my parents. I get good grades.
So
I'm not struggling financially. Like, yeah, I am the anomaly because I actually have a life worth living. Miserable ass mother. Like, I felt like, cause I'm at that point.
what? That's such a good fucking example. Okay, so like the things that I wanted to talk about with where I feel like the internet has gotten worse, I kind of like said it briefly earlier, is
Mhm,
that like everything seems so like pessimistic and nitpicky in
mhm,
the spaces that I frequent, which like the context to be given is that we have several games and several stories and several experiences that are becoming more available or becoming more doable. And there's like genuine criticisms. Like FF14 has criticisms over its storyline and its gameplay. So does Zenless Zone Zero. So does fucking anything else I'm interacting with right now. And I find that I'm in this desperate bid to find people who just want to kind of hype up and chit chat about something we are like normal about. And what's very funny is I'm gonna make this into a clip, and I'm a part of me is worried it's gonna be slightly taken out of context. Oh, thank you for the posture check,
it's
by
the
the way,
internet.
Ashley.
It'd be like that.
Yeah, because it's the internet, it's what they do. Um, my thing that I mentioned before is, and I love that you brought up like the bit with Miles, because I'm like that's kind of how I feel. It's like Basil, why aren't you mad that like the newest raid content can be beaten with no healers? It's like because I'm not good enough to do that and I only can dedicate so much time to this game. Like I'm not playing it enough to hate it. It's like, well, you should still like why aren't you putting more effort into this? It's because I have a wife, friends, and 2 dogs. Like you fucking losers.
Yeah,
Why are you mad at me that you're playing a game at nauseum to the point where you hate it and you have no desire to look outside of the bubble of this one game? And you're mad at me for not being angry that something is fairly, yeah, not great, but it doesn't affect me beyond, oh, well, I'm not going to be able to do that thing. That is weird and kind of bad game design that can happen.
but like it's not.
Wouldn't let that shit happen to me though.
Would have let that shit happen to me though. And then like I feel like because people have dedicated their time that me with Overwatch 2 and I'm in a space with Overwatch 1 elitists.
Yeah.
But see
Oh my
me
god.
me there's not even a fucking difference because I fucking suck at the game. I'm moving no, I'm moving away from like co-op games. I realized that I played by myself for a reason because I
Mm-hmm.
suck. And
Oh.
and with some things I have to come to terms with the fact that a lot of the things that I like never sync up with the things that other people like. Or if I do get into something that somebody else likes, it'd be at different times or they already gotten away from it or something. I'm always off when
Mm-hmm.
it comes to things. I feel like I suck at social media because whenever I actually get time to fucking draw something, the trend is already over. I think about the goddamn um not the sunburn thing. That's not what it's called. The heat wave. The heat wave photo shoot with that
See,
one.
this is how out of touch I am with the internet, because like I feel like I'm the guy that like starts getting the feed when these trends are happening, but after they've already happened. So I'm just like, oh, this is great.
So
I've got
for
like a million of these videos and these artists that do this thing. It's like, whatever happened to this? It's like, Basil, that ended like 6 months ago. What the fuck are you on about?
so like for context, right? There was this art trend. You might know what it is. Have you seen this art trend where folks would draw somebody shirtless and look like they had on a
Oh,
crop
and then
top?
like yeah, it's oftentimes it's like a man whose like chest is very big, so like the one
Yeah.
person's like looking at them from the side.
No, not that one. Not that one.
Oh.
The person looks sunburned. and the part of their chest exposed is pasty because they had on a crop top over that. They're usually wearing a pair of headphones and stuff. I call it the heat wave trend because it was from a photo shoot titled Heat Wave. It was this one Chinese model who was like debuting or something, and his photo shoot went so well that a lot of artists sought to recreate it. And now it's in like its 2.0 stage because some white girl decided to recreate it, and there was a lot of discourse with that because like pretty much she had to post an announcement. All of the Twitter gays and the straight women saying, "What's the point of me doing this? Have you considered that this isn't for y'all?" And I'm like, I'm glad that you're doing this for the sapphics, but I'm definitely not the sapphic that you're doing it for because I don't go here. I don't care. I don't care. Like, good for her. And now I'm seeing folks like draw Selena Kyle and whatnot as like a redraw of that specific version. And I was going to participate in it, but then this goddamn coloring book thing, and that's where I recently got diagnosed with high blood pressure because I've been dealing with back to back stress and shit. And it's like a feeling of uselessness or something where it's just like I have so many ideas, but I can't even get them out because I'm too fucking tired to actually get them out. And it's like a feeling of despair. Like let's talk about internet and stuff and how trends really do not have a lot of longevity, so you constantly feel like you have to catch up. And then the things that get popular versus the things that are decent. And yes, I'm going to be egotistical about it because I am confident in my art skill, but I also am aware that I don't post enough art to actually be out there, and that I'm more so popular for talking shit. I literally got. Did you see that one Zuko opinion that I made?
Oh God! Even when let's hear it because I'm sure I've missed it.
Okay, so pretty much it was just a thread on like why Zuko's character arc is good, and I feel like a lot of people reduce it to, oh, he was bad because he was in an abusive relationship with his dad, instead of, oh, he was bad because of the culture that he grew up in. And I shouldn't have called it a redemption arc because redemption implies that you were good and then you turn bad and then you're like restoring yourself. But like the thing was, Zuko was technically always bad due to being a colonizer. This is a de-radicalization arc, right? And pretty much I was like talking about the process of it and what makes his arc so profound because he's constantly dismantling and peeling back the layers of the ideology that he grew up with, and he fails a couple of times, and how it takes reinforcement from others because a lot of people talk about how Iroh is such a influence, but people forget that Aang is like the biggest influence because like his culture and the way that he lives in response to what happens to him, that's very antithetical to Fire Nation ideology of might makes right and stuff. And that ended up getting like 180,000 likes. And I'm like, damn, that's nice and all, but can y'all niggas give that to a picture that I drew for like 17 hours? I made this thread in like 8 minutes. Please.
And that's something that I've also like in a very different like space of creativity. It's something I've struggled with for years. What a lot of people either don't know because I'm old or they've forgotten is that years ago, again, my early 20s, I actually got kind of popular very briefly because I made some good Monster Hunter videos and a video. This was like before Breath of the Wild came out, and like there was this brief sting of like, whoa, Link looks like oddly more effeminate than they usually do. And I made this video about like, oh, could Link canonically be reincarnated as a girl? Like, is that a thing that they could do? I got those Monster Hunter videos in that video like did numbers like 500,000 views, and then like nothing I created afterwards I could get off the ground doing anything because I wasn't talking about like very. I would say I wasn't talking about interesting topics, but like I couldn't get the spark and the rotation going
Mm-hmm.
of sticking with the feed and what people were interested in. And this is like one of the things that I think is I don't have a fancy theory word for it,
Mm-hmm.
but when it comes to creativity and when it comes to like exploring yourself in whatever like medium you're at, you can't rely solely on being able to be the most popular. You can't rely on the money coming from, yes, I will do the thing that is the most calculated. And
Mm-hmm.
the reason I say that is because there's like we've seen it so many times. There are several content creators who do that. They go out of their way to make the most calculated shit, and years down the road it turns out that they are so good at being this calculated is because they're conniving bitches who hurt people.
Yeah.
Meanwhile,
This
the people who take
damn, I
10
don't even want
plus
to say who.
years.
Like, yeah, there's a lawsuit going. You know who I'm thinking about, right?
Oh, Rister Reese!
Restorie.
Raggy! Raggy Rister Reese
Jimmy.
is a Renarile!
Jimmy. I don't know his last name, so it's not. So I'm not accusing anybody because I don't know his last name. It's just a guy named Jimmy who's being a pro.
Yeah. But, and like, this is like something I've noticed as I've like gotten older, because like one of the most marvelous things about me is that I was there in the beginning when like the internet like auteur or the internet celebrity really started to kick off and become a profitable thing.
Mm-hmm.
You start to notice that there's multiple categories of people, and I feel like again, this is why the internet kind of sucks more than ever.
Yeah.
You have these people who are like so conniving, and like we see it all the time, and people are still getting upset about it. But I'm at this point where I'm like,
I'm
you
bored.
guys are
It's not
surprised by
new.
this? Like, I was kind of like waiting for this. Meanwhile, you've got YouTubers who have been grinding for 10 plus years, and or they make the most niche shit, and it's the most fun, it's the most entertaining, and it's the most out there. And they're only maybe if they're really successful, getting a million views, and it's still not enough to keep the lights on sometimes. So they have to like find other means of doing it. And to me, I realize, oh, we've either fed ourselves or we've been fed this lie that the Mr. Beasts and the uh, Logan Pauls of the internet are the only way to be successful. It's like, one, success is relative. Two, like, you should never want to get to the point where like you're just making content for the sake of money.
Mm-hmm.
Like, money is a necessity, but I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, if I didn't have to like worry about paying bills, I would just be playing video games all day, hanging out with my wife, and talking about the things I love
Oh,
while
hey, Dream.
trying to
Thanks for
have
the follow.
some kind of like intellectual discussion about that shit. Like,
Mm-hmm.
the money is the obstacle. It's not supposed to be the goal.
Yeah.
And we've lost that for generations, like
Mm-hmm.
long before us. But like now it seems like people are screaming at the top of their lawns online, why isn't this working?
Yeah, and what pisses me off is that, because, like, part of the reason why I turned to entertainment, it really wasn't about necessarily getting big, even though I would not mind. I would like to. Pretty much, my thing is, I want to get big for the things that I care about.
Mm-hmm.
And this isn't to say that I don't care about, like, whenever my media opinions get big, but I guess I have a complex about being seen as, say, aggressive or like or very, what's the word, very, like, I have a sharp tongue with certain things. And when the only things that get boosted are like media opinions that only take me a couple of minutes to type out, and that's partially because I've done a lot of essays and stuff. So, and I grew up doing public speaking because I grew up in church and we did that. Also, hi, Vampy. But so that's just me utilizing my experience and being able to talk quickly about things. But it's just like I put in hours into an art piece, and I appreciate the people who do see and appreciate it. Right? I'm not gonna say that, oh, it's because it's not a certain amount of folks liking it, it doesn't matter. No, it fucking matters. Like, I think a lot of artists need to remind
Mm-hmm.
themselves that like 15 to 30 people looking at your art pieces is a lot of people. You can't fit that in your room.
No, like that's you can be, depending on the size of your house, 15 to 30 people is a lot of fuckers in your house.
Yeah, it's
And
just that it gets
sorry, go here, guys.
annoying where something that takes you 5 minutes to say can get thousands of people onto it versus something that takes you hours to do.
Mhm. And this is where it gets interesting when you're a creative, is that you either need to me at least, I feel like you either need to understand that art entertainment is not solely supposed to be something to make money off of. It is something to be experienced in a way you are comfortable with and that you can engage with while like broadening your horizons. So if you have to choose between making money and being happy, like you need to you just have to make the being happy point.
Hmm.
And that sucks to say because like we've said, you'll get people who are saying either dog shit opinions or making a very observant opinion, and you're on the other side making this good art. And Jayla, you make good art. And like it always bothers me to see you and many other people who like, man, this is good shit. Why isn't this getting popular enough? And it's like, because that's not really what art and entertainment is. But
Yeah.
at the core, to live the life of being able to make that entertainment your livelihood,
Hmm.
you have to basically sell out or get stupid lucky and then somehow retain that.
Hmm. I
And
am trying to find a happy medium because, like, this isn't to say that I don't like talking shit. Because if I didn't, then I wouldn't be doing it. I just, I just want them to be valued on the same level. That's the thing. So I'm just like,
Mhm.
maybe if I combine the two, maybe I'll get somewhere.
Yeah, and like that's like the thing that I find is a struggle, is like finding the duality of it all. Because like for me, I have learned I'm not like, I love talking about stuff. I love breaking stuff down. I've learned that I'm not really the kind of person that can do scripted videos and make something interesting in that sense, because several other people I watch already do it and do it better than I ever could.
Hmm.
And while there's the argument of no, you should still do it to hone your skill, I've gotten to a point where it's like, well, hold on. I'm really good at like speaking off the cuff. I'm really good at like talking to people in the moment.
Hmm.
Maybe there's a way I can take my ability to plan and script, but then be like, fuck it, we'll do it live logic. Like maybe there's a way I can meet those two aspects in the middle. And that's what I'm exploring right now. And I'm all like, I've already got that dumbass video about us talking about the differences of pissing in the shower versus pissing in the pool.
I
And
got
it's like,
that on my I got that on my watch later. I'll get there. I'll let you
it's
know how
it's
I
so
feel. I'm
it's
scared.
so it's so dumb. It's so ridiculous. But like, I have been watching a handful of different people like take these like little 5-minute bits of their stream where they just say something that's so damn funny, but it just keeps going. There's no point in cutting it. And I kept back and listening to that. It's like this is what I want to be known for, saying silly shit and giving this vibe of a bunch of people sitting in a room together, bouncing off of one another and having a good time. Like I had to look like, so many people are like, man, you just want to be a clown? Honk, honk, motherfucker. At least I'm happy and I'm coping with the world. Like, I am
Hmm.
a clown, but like, I'm a good clown.
Every time I
Like, it
hear
takes
I am a
it takes
clown,
effort.
every time I hear I am a clown, have you heard of this one opera called is it Pagliacci? Let me look it up again. Like, okay, I've been getting back into opera, right? And like opera is ghetto. Like I don't think if anybody knows, but opera is a very ghetto genre of art because like yeah, you hear Europeans singing in their native languages and stuff, and it's all fancy and highbrow and shit. No, it isn't. Look up the translations. Have you heard of Pagliacci? It's the song that's all like da, 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 da.
I I feel like I need to like you need to send it to me because I love like experiencing different art forms and like
I'm
trying to
sending
like dip
you.
my toe into
I'm
stuff.
sending you a
But
video
like
right now.
one of the best examples I can give off of like what you're saying about like opera is ghetto or opera is like dirty. It's not just like, oh, it's so beautiful. It's the comparison I made with someone where like I used to believe this, but after actually like listening and like having it broken down like what hip hop actually is as a song medium,
Hmm.
it's very ignorant and very half-brained to say that like, oh, country music is just hip hop for white people, and I'm just like, no, why
No.
did I ever say this shit? It is so wrong, and country music is worse every day for thinking like country used to be good. It used to be good, and it's so like everyone's like, oh, but hip hop's all about like sex and money. It's like, how is
That's
this
every
not
genre of music. That's every genre of music.
that
I'm
is
literally,
every fucking genre of
I am literally
music.
getting into industrial music right now, and it's just skinny white dudes with depression singing in abandoned warehouses about eating pussy that they're never gonna get. That's literally industrial music in a nutshell.
Literally like so much music I listen to that is like whether it's from a video game or whether it's just plain ass like actually like naturally from a band, like I'll listen to this and I'll hear it, it's like, oh, it's a heartbreak song, that's another heartbreak song, that's another heartbreak song, and then I stop and I'm like, I just listened to a heartbreak song from dark country, hip hop, and rock and roll, and I'm like, oh, it's all the same because humans have a relatively similar thing we all bitch about.
Yeah.
Like it like the nuance is how we go about telling it in different ways,
Mhm.
which only makes country more like something I get pissed off about
Because of how
because
heavily
like
gentrified it is.
how immensely gentrified it is. Like you cannot find a good country song made by like the most popular artists in country that
Um,
sounds genuine.
Look up
Like
Shibusi.
it's
I
I'm
heard
gonna
that
have
he's
to look.
good. I've only listened to Shibusi one time, and I didn't even realize that he was on it because I really was not paying attention to the soundtrack like that. Shibusi is a rising star country singer. I think he's from Nigeria.
Ooh.
No, he's from Ethiopia. I think. Give me a minute. I gotta look him up again. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Either he grew up in the U.S. but he got family from Ethiopia, or he's directly from in Ethiopia. Where he from? He's from Virginia, but his family from somewhere in Africa. I just can't
Yeah.
remember where. But he's featured on two tracks by Beyonce on Cowboy Carter. And his bar song Tipsy ended up peaking on the Billboard Hot 100. But the song that I know him from is Start a Riot from Into the Spider Verse. And Cowboy Carter has actually helped. Like, okay, there's always been black country singers because country has heavy roots in like what's it called? Like a lot of African American storytelling traditions is heavily rooted
Yeah.
in country, as well as like what's starts with a G. Is it grass something? Dang it! What's that one music genre?
Bluegrass?
Bluegrass. Yeah, bluegrass. I'm like, it got grass in it, but I don't know what kind of grass it is. Yeah,
I
like,
don't know what grass is. I know it starts with a B.
but Cowboy Carter has helped to like push up and coming excuse me, has helped push up and coming black country music singers to the forefront because with Blackbird there was a lot of women on there because Blackbird is a Beatles song, and it was written as a tribute to the women of the Little Rock Nine, which was a group of teenagers that strategically integrated the Central High School school system. and it was like a tribute to them and stuff. And like that, when I found that out about Blackbird, because I don't listen to the Beatles. The closest thing that I will listen to the Beatles is listening to the Wiggles because I don't care for the Beatles like
Stop.
that.
Stop.
But
Never listen. I'm not a Beatles fan, but I never want to hear that
the
shit
Beatles are
ever
peak.
again.
No, do you know how brilliant the Beatles are? 3 out of 4 of them have a degree in children's education and stuff. So like, because they were originally going to be an adult marketed band called the Cockroaches, but after they all got their degrees in like children's education and stuff, it was just like, maybe we have a different calling. And they've made bangers ever since. And I love the new gen. Like I remember when they were doing TikToks and stuff, and they were dancing to Million Dollar Baby, and that one really tall, buff Asian dude that hit the Dougie, but he did it so immaculately that they called it the Douglas. Like, shout out the Wiggles, but like,
Damn, maybe I should be. Maybe I need to be more insulted when the Wiggles get compared to the Beatles. Like, don't put that kind of shit on the Wiggles.
no, because like nobody could never. I'm sorry. Like Sam paved the way. They don't have anything. I don't give a fuck about your yellow submarine again. I'm here for the big red car. But you know
Oh
about Captain Feather
god.
Sword. You don't go here. You don't know nothing about no damn Henry the Octopus. I don't give a
Listen,
fuck.
I can't entirely relate because I was a Backyardigans kid. I don't
I
know
was
what
a
to say to you.
Backyardigans kid. The Wiggles came out before the Backyardigans.
I
So
know,
you
but that's what
know,
I'm saying is that like
Basil, don't lecture me about
The
no damn
Wiggles
Backyardigans.
couldn't.
You don't know about everything being Boinga. You don't know about the Alicia Keys episode. You don't know about the mission to Mars. You don't know about the singing telegram where Uniqua tells you to smile. You don't know about the international super spy Pablo. You don't go.
Oh god. There's so many
You don't know
times
about
my
Puka
wife and I
Pele.
have Puka Pele. I think my one of my unironic. Oh fuck, what was it? There's a Backyardigans song that I'm trying to think of. It was never made into like a full on song. It's just like a snippet in the episode. I'm like, I wish they had expanded on this. I don't know
See, the
why,
worst part
but
about it, I
something.
feel like I would know it because, like, okay, I got
I'll say
musicism. I
I
got
got it.
musicism. I got
Music to
musicism because, like, okay, and my mom contributed to it because when we would wait on the bus because we had no transportation, we would play this game called Cartoon Tunes where we would just hum the tunes of the shows that we watch and guess it as we're waiting on the long ass bus because we got a terrible public transportation system. So like Atlas, do you know who Atlas? I still don't know how to pronounce his last name. I gotta hear it more often. Ursa, Ursa something like it's the bear constellation because he's a bear. He's a
uh,
bear pirate.
it's a bear. Wait, hold on. That sounds awesome. What the
Okay,
fuck?
okay. So Atlas's lore is that he's a pirate who like ran away from home because he was supposed to become a spiritual leader, but he did not want to do that, which is fair. Which is fair. And like when he became a pirate, his crew got like got eaten by a damn kraken and shit. And even though he was supposed to go with the ship, he was too pissed off, so he went after the octopus. And instead of giving me some damn calamari, he fucking lost and fucking lost. He got impaled, and then the star constellation, the Ursa Major, ended up like shining its light upon D and helping him resurrect into like a celestial bear star spirit. So like he still sails the seven seas, but he can harness the power of the bear constellation. I have the lore 90% right because I know I'm missing something or I got one or two details wrong. But that's like the closest that I could get when it comes to remembering VTuber lore. But what was I thinking about Atlas again? Fuck. Damn. We were
Ugh.
talking about backyardigans, musictism. How did Atlas? Oh yeah, I forgot. Atlas had this one stream where he was doing a like he's been doing these competitions where you would guess the anime by the opener and stuff. And he recently
hmm
did a cartoon version of that. And I wasn't able to go because of my damn job. I'm like, please, I
See,
want
this circles back around to just let us have regular automated income and fuck having a job.
this. Yeah, because like the worst part about it, I like work. I just don't like having to work to live. That's the dehumanizing part about it. I should not have
Yep.
to prove my right to exist through labor, right? I don't mind educating the public because I work as an education assistant at a museum. I love it, but they also don't pay me enough to be here because I'm part time and I feel like part time workers. Like this is a state institution. Part time workers should be getting paid decently. I do not care. I hate my governor,
Yeah.
and that's as far as I'm
I
gonna say
mean,
because if I say anything
well,
more about that person,
I'll
I'm
happily just
already on the
I'll just
FBI
happily
watch list because I got into an argument with the dude who was in charge. He's no longer there though. They changed the director.
hmm
But like I wonder sometimes. I'm like, am I on a
I'll,
watch list because I was arguing with people at this job?
I'll happily put my own ass out there when it comes to this. Is that it? There's so many people who will complain about, oh well, like McDonald's workers shouldn't get paid X amount of money,
Yes, they
and
should.
my answer is always the same. Do you want your burger to not taste like ass? Then maybe you need to pay, period, whoever the fuck is serving you the burger enough money so where they want to come in and keep the job.
Yeah.
And
Now my
as someone
thing
who
is
has worked
though,
in the food industry, like you need like
yeah,
I would probably still be working as a manager, as a supervisor or cook at Bob Evans if they paid me a damn and didn't overwork me. It's like, come the fuck on.
hmm I will say like okay because I also worked at a dining court my freshman year in high school, not high school, college, and I hated it. But I've always been like good pay and good working conditions do help you work better, but some stuff I never let my standard go down with things because I always had a fear that I was gonna kill somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Because like it do be bothering me when some fast food workers, because sometimes I would be pissed off at my coworkers with how they would act once they're off the clock, right? Because what do you mean you put a whole entire fucking ladle in the cheese dip and I can't find it, and now I got to change out the whole vat of cheese dip because of cross contamination? And you work
Oh,
here, bitch ass. Like, cause like, okay, my
I
thing
have.
is, even if you're demoralized by the job, my when it comes to like stuff, when it comes to like hygiene and whatnot, I will never let my standard down because I don't want anybody to die. I'd rather just kill my boss for not paying me enough to be here than kill a customer.
No, honestly, and like even getting away from like that, where it's like the amount of the problem I used to have with working in the food industry is just having to deal with so many of these like, hey, we need you to do this, and this, and it has to be done at this time. It's like, well, it's not gonna get done at that time. If you want me to do it well, you're gonna have to like actively give me the time and the space to do the thing you want me to do. It's like, oh, it shouldn't take you that long to get under the grills or whatever to do
Do
stuff. It's like
you do that?
I'm yeah, it's just like, really? And then why don't you hire a third party person to come in at night? Because I'm cooking the food, you dumb bitch. You want me to somehow literally move the fryers and the stove to cook while also cleaning. It was the only way that we could like there's no fucking way. You
I've straight
just
up
need
gotten
to
into
hire a third party.
I've straight up gotten into arguments with people, not at work, but like whenever it came to like game development thing, where I'm just like, I don't understand why this thing isn't implemented into the game, and it's just like because it takes a lot of labor, and I'm like, no fucking shit. That's why you hire more people. Like
See,
it would be conversation about Minecraft, right, and how slow these damn updates be, and it's just like, do you understand, bitch? I do understand. That's why I'm saying to hire more people. Like if
and
you need the
here's
thing done
the
faster, then you get more people to do the same task to make it go faster. It's not hard. You have the money.
the difference. again, like keeping context in mind, the reason why like I feel like hire more people isn't always the right solution is because if you've got a bunch of chickens running around with their head cut off, you don't want to add more chickens. You want to add like someone who can wrangle the chickens.
But I
But
feel like
that's
when
where
it
it comes
comes
the
to
more impossible.
yeah, it's more like the context of the situation. When it comes to a lot of these projects with art entertainment, like when it comes to video games and stuff, most of the time they are understaffed because like there's no
Yeah.
reason why say a storyboard artist. If my job description says storyboard artist, do not have me making animatics, full on animations, and being a colorist and shit. How about you actually hire the people who do that? Because I'm not doing
Yup.
anything outside of my job description. And I also need people within animation to put their damn foot down because too many artists, I feel like they're willing to tolerate certain things just to say that they have a job in the industry because it's just like, yeah, fuck you, dad, fuck you, mom. I actually did get an art job. And it's just like, yeah, you only got a job. You don't have a career. You don't have a career because
Mm-hmm.
your project just got canceled and turned into a tax write off in order to keep from having to pay your health insurance. Your cat hisses you whenever you walk into the door because you haven't been at the house in like 3 fucking months because you've been paying overtime that you're not even getting overtime rates for and eating nothing but ramen in the studio just to meet a deadline for a job description that you didn't even sign up for. But yeah, you got a job. Like, your parents are wrong for not trying to encourage your dreams, but they're low key right that you do not have a career because you don't stand up for yourself. Everybody's just like, yes, master, as long as I get to draw my little oomfies, I'll tolerate it. And it's just like, no, stand up
No,
for yourself.
like this is like the biggest reason why we need like the push for unions in the entertainment industry has been a long fucking time
Oh,
coming.
tax
It's
contract officially expires today. They're in negotiation right now, but if it goes wrong, they're going on strike, and I'm waiting for it. Like, I hope that they get
I
what they
as they
want, but I low key want to
should.
strike though. I want them to. I want motherfuckers to suffer.
I'm kind of in the
I'm
same
evil.
boat because I'm like if we're not going to get the things we like, you can't keep settling. And like here's the example I can give, right? So after my Bob Evans job, I went on to work in dispatch security. Like it was a good paying job, it was fine. But the problem that came into it very quickly was that the hours were becoming untenable because we didn't have enough people and everyone was doing overtime.
Hmm.
And there was just too much animosity in the workplace. It was literally just a bunch of catty bitches who had nothing better to do than like talk shit about each other behind their back. And like, I wouldn't engage with a lot of these conversations, or I wouldn't like be nice to some of my coworkers because it's like, I already know you're trying to like pry me for information to keep your little gossip girl group going on. And they're like, why don't you like talk about this stuff? Why don't you engage with this? And I literally tell them, you are not my wife, you are not my dogs, and you are not my friends. Like, I'm here, I am literally here to collect a paycheck and go home. Like, I'm here to do my damnest best job and then leave. Now imagine having to have that mentality, but you're still saying it's your career. It's not a career. Like, there's nothing wrong with having a job, but you gotta start like, hey, if I can stand up to my shitty bosses at a job that pays me to like do shit at home, you can like restructure how you feel about a career in the mindset of, hey, I kind of hate it here. Is this really what I want? And if it is, yeah, that's where we need the unions because it's not, obviously I'm talking from like the ass of like someone who literally just talks, and that's my creativity. And there's so many things for years that have been like making people go into bad situations and like having to grit and bear it. But like we are in the era, at least when it comes to video games, where you can literally do a good job and it still isn't enough. So now that we're finally here and finally enough people are getting pissy about it, something is finally happening. Like, we literally can no longer bear it. And what's funny is the corporate overlords can no longer hide it. And it's just like, okay, if it's now or never, guys, wake the fuck up.
Hmm.
Ugh.
I cry.
So at the attempt to go to the topic of choice for this stream hangout,
Mm-hmm.
this is where I feel like a lot of the internet has gotten worse aspect comes in, at least for me,
Mm-hmm.
because I very much am an advocate of entertainment and being able to relax and reboot yourself is massively necessary to be able to keep up the fight for shit that is important. But like what you said earlier, consumption of X is not radical. It is supposed to be the thing that lets you refuel to go back out there and do radical things.
Mm-hmm.
It is a necessary step of being a human being.
Mm-hmm.
And so the thing that I feel like is making it harder is, and this is a multifaceted problem. I am purely bitching about the things that I am experiencing.
Mm-hmm.
People are just not able to enjoy things when they're actually fun slash like they have to knit. And I'm not talking like, oh, like with Genshin's bullshit on like, we have a fantasy Africa and there's no black people.
Yeah.
That's something to genuinely be angry about
Mm-hmm.
and to like talk about, right? What's not worth being bitchy about is complaining about a voice actor change in a game when it was done amicably and saying shit like, oh, I don't know if I'll be able to get used to the change, or a change in a job class in 14 that only slightly alters how the class was played,
Mm-hmm.
and then throwing it off like, oh, they are just ruining the class again. They're taking away the identity. And my answer is always, you're still playing the shit, right?
Yeah. Because it's
You're
just like
still
I feel like a lot of
here.
people fail to realize that entertainment is more abundant than water right now. You can always change and stuff, and I guess it pisses me off. Like, because like this thing with Genshin is high key pissing me off because I'm seeing people who are against the boycott because it's just like, how do we show that we still care about the game if we stop playing it? And I'm like, how are you going to complain about this game constantly disrespecting you when you're not willing to leave and go where you are respected? It's why I don't take people seriously. And it's not
Mm-hmm.
everybody, but it's just like I feel like a lot of people who say that they care about certain issues in media, they're really not willing to put their money where their mouth is because they're not willing to go where they're wanted. And so I literally just saw somebody say that like I'm very frustrated. I'm very frustrated with certain things. How somebody was just like, what do you want me to say? Maybe I'm losing chess to a dog, but Gege, the writer of Jujutsu Kaisen, making such a
Yeah.
big deal out of Megumi's type plus
Yes, we were
today's development.
talking about
And
this.
I'm just
Yeah.
like, y'all will get queer baited by misogynistic writing instead of reading actual gay shit. And this is why I will never take manga fruits seriously because it's just like, how are you going to say that you care about gay representation, but you're not willing to actually look for some stuff when there is a really big community and whatnot. And there's like, and it's not even just the old stuff, right? There's still stuff being made and there's still new stuff. But like people will always cling to male centered shonen. It's not, to me it's not gay. It's not gay to be male centered. And people are like, well, how is it not gay when you're focusing on men? And I'm like, putting men on a pedestal is patriarchal. And that's as unqueer as you can get because patriarchy is about the devaluing of women. It's not about the love of men because men also suffer under patriarchy, right? They don't give a fuck about men.
Mm-hmm.
They just care about having dominion over women, and that's not gay. That's not gay because
No,
nobody loves.
absolutely.
That's not gay because nobody loves a woman more than a gay man who's really into pop music. Like, do you see how devoted gay men are towards Nicki Minaj? How they even have more devotion to other women, and that's sad because Nicki Minaj is a terrible person. Let her go. Let her go, gay man. Be free.
Be
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 free. You can
be
find.
be free, my gay brethren.
You can find
You
another
can
mother.
you can find another. They're out there,
You
and
can
I
find
like
another
you
mother.
hit the nail on the head because it's like we literally do have more entertainment than we have like drinkable water, which is just like it's the best time to be a nerd, and yet we have these nerds and these people who interact with entertainment, and they're so unwilling to go outside their bubble. I have had conversations with people, someone I've known since college. I was talking with them. I've told them, like, we were having a discussion about like the differences between FF14 and World of Warcraft. Very civil conversation, no major issues. We were just saying, hey, I would like to know more about the game you like that I don't like, because like I'm already coming at it from a negative bias. And eventually the conversation went to me being like, hey, Sebis, or I should have. Well, I said their online name, but I shouldn't have said that. But it's okay. I was
I know who
talking with
that is.
them. No, most people won't. Most people won't. I know. I was talking about them. I was talking to them, and I'm just like, we were like, the conversation steered into, hey, what's a game that you guys like know is good, but it's just not for you, and you just can't get around it. And my buddy was like, FF14, and I'm just like, really? Like, but you play it almost as much as I do. Like, you play it with the rest of the people in this Discord. And they said, yeah, I'd rather be playing World of Warcraft. And I'm like, why aren't you playing World of Warcraft then? Oh, my friends don't play it. It's like, I didn't say anything then because I obviously did not want to put them on the spot. But ever since then, I've been thinking about, like, a lot of the friends I make are from the games I play.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is I make the friends after I play the game. Like, if I have made several groups to do raid content in FF14. I didn't find the friends first. I played the game first and said, I'd like to continue being a part of this game.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like, my buddy is just like, he's a married man who has more shit to do with his life. So he's very happy. It's just one of those things where I'm like, oh, that's a weird glitch in the system for me, where it's like, you need friends to enjoy a game that you already enjoy versus finding friends who enjoy the game that you enjoy. And that's taking out the entire context of like, well, maybe the social structure of World of Warcraft is vastly harder to break through than Final Fantasy, whatever. That's a whole other conversation to be had. But then I have other friends who just can't stop dog shitting on FF14. And I've gotten to the point where I'm like, there's a big thing going on in the FF14 community where it's like, why are you playing? All you ever do is complain about it. Well, how am I going to know? And you kind of said this before. How are they going to know that I'm not happy? And I'm almost getting to the point where they don't fucking care.
Mm-hmm.
The casual players, me, who log in 3 times a week, don't fucking care. And we're the player base that gives the devs the money they need. No one cares. And it's so mean to say, but it's so accurate of, I've had friends say, but like, isn't it fair? Or like, isn't it like, I want a space for me, who's a hardcore player, to be in this game. And I've always been wishy-washy on it, but now that I've gotten to this point of just being an old man shaking my fist at the clouds, I'm just going to start being, you're not one. It's not that you're not wanted here. It's just that no one fucking cares. Like, you want a harder game? Support a harder game. FF14's not a hard game. But it could be. But no one wants it to be. Zenless Zone Zero is like, oh, it's too easy. I don't care. It's flashy and it has cool character designs and a Persona-ass story. But it should be more like Wuthering Waves. I'm not playing Wuthering Waves. I'm playing Zenless. If I want to play Wuthering Waves, I'll play it, which is what you should be doing. And there's like getting away from the corporate end of it, there's so many games on the indie market, the fucking indie scene, that could be thriving for the people who are not enjoying the mainstream stuff. And like, I'm finding indie games that I'm like, oh, this is my shit. I'm so down for this. I'm so glad I'm playing this. Like, instead of bitching about how Pokemon is not how I like it anymore, I play a game called Koromon, which was made by like 5 people, and it's just Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, but indie, and it's great. And yet I will still hear people bitching about how bad Pokemon is. It's like, play something else! it's not for you anymore, and that's okay.
Yeah,
Why are you so fucking like married to this shit?
because trying to branch out is hard. A lot of people want to be spoon fed, and also people find validation through mainstream, which is why people insist on certain things in mainstream media instead of I talk about going where you're wanted with certain
Yep.
stuff. And a lot of people would rather the place that I think it's like it's weaponized hope, or at least the companies themselves are weaponizing hope because they know that people will stay in hopes of them changing without ever needing to actually change because nobody wants to use leverage. Think again, Shin. And because to me, it shouldn't have taken a second instance of cultural disrespect for people to get tired. They should have gotten tired the first time, but I feel like I know why things changed a bit differently this time. It was too many black people in the first. There's too many black people the first time for motherfuckers to care, but now they've gone too. Because like, okay, there's a huge issue with global anti-blackness, and I wish that there was more POC solidarity, but that's a whole other conversation. But
Mm-hmm.
that's a whole other conversation. But a lot of people would rather stay in hopes of the thing that they've already invested time and money into to change than to take a chance on new things because of that uncertainty and stuff. And
And
it's very isolating being the only one who's willing to take that chance because, I've talked about not being into the same things as other folks or being into things at different times. And it feels like my timing is always off. And
yeah.
it can feel isolating because a lot of the games that the folks that I know play are games that I'm not into, and it would be conversations sometimes. And I feel like the only thing that I could contribute in the conversation is like random history facts and just talking shit in general. It's not like I could actually hang out and do an activity online. And but I do have to come to terms with that. Folks do appreciate what I do have to offer, so there's that. I guess it's
Yeah.
I guess it's just this feeling that you can only do so much.
And I always worry that like I'm coming from a defeatist or I sound defeatist when I say this or say stuff like this, but like I really do feel like, especially with how like the internet makes everything so easily reachable, and yet at the same time, because it's so easy, people aren't interacting or handling a topic with the nuance it should be. Like what once took having to read and research and really deep dive to get into is so much at our fingertips now that you can just be spoon fed something and not really get it because you're not being forced to really engage with it, right?
Hmm.
When you have that problem and then you're dealing with this sense of FOMO, one, again, also another whole other conversation, but like stop letting the corporations win, guys. Like that's what they
Hmm.
want. They want you to experience FOMO is real, but it's not real. Like it's something being used against you, but it actually you need to wake up and realize, wait, no, this doesn't matter. And I say this because FOMO and like the sunk cost fallacy are things that people need to be aware of to the point of like you got to be willing to diversify and challenge yourself and be better with your entertainment views and like I am going to
Especially
trust
when everybody and
someone.
their mom
Go
always
ahead, go
loves to
ahead.
talk about, like, what annoys me is that everybody and their mom wants an indie revolution, but nobody is willing to actually invest in indie unless it's like presenting itself on the same level. I think about Has Been Hotel
Mm-hmm.
and its commercial success, and I don't like it because I don't think that a company Like, first of all, they shouldn't be calling themselves indie anymore. They may have started that way, but they are far from it at this point. On top of the fact that,
If they're still
um,
calling themselves indie after all this time, that's disgusting.
I don't know if the company itself is calling itself that or just the fans because they don't understand how indie works, but either way is bad. I will
Yeah.
say that it being pedestaled as like an example of indie standards when no, this is just a smaller company that has managed to get to commercial success. I hold it, excuse me, I hold it in a similar regard to A24 because it is an A24 production. Technically, like it's Spindlehorse is the studio that makes it, right? That's the
Yeah.
formerly indie company, but A24, what does A24 has something to do with? And I can't. A24 used to be indie, but it's no longer that because the scale, you know.
Well, something similar to that in video games is like everyone has been for a while saying like what's going on with Larian and Baldur's Gate 3 should be the new standard. And at first, like, I didn't really grasp like the dangerous wordage that has
Hmm. They
until
need to say
recently when
specifically
like
what about it should be the standard because I think that it should be standard
yeah.
for video games to be willing to take time to do well because that's
But but I feel like where the conversation gets lost with a lot of people is there like when people say, yeah, like more games should be exactly like Larian Studios and Baldur's Gate, it's like they're
no.
still updating the game. Like you cannot expect indie or other projects made by like with backing of corporation to literally have the time or money to keep updating a game for the fuck of it. Because Baldur's Gate has just been adding content for the fuck of it, which is awesome. But
Hmm.
that's what makes Baldur's Gate 3 such a phenomenal situation. I would never want to put an indie dev or like a smaller B tier game in the position of Baldur's Gate just because, oh, well, this is like, whether it's the same genre or not, it's like, oh, well, if you have such and such company backing you, this should be, you should guys should do it like Baldur's Gate, where it goes into buttfuck broken early access for 3 years before it actually can be released to the public. And it's like, no, not every game needs this.
Hmm.
Like, you're right. Like, the dedication and the amount of time given to the devs to make something, yes, that should be more leadership, should be a standard.
Hmm.
But this expectation that every big RPG needs to be Baldur's Gate 3, that's going to, one, oversaturate the market. Two,
Hmm.
it's asinine to think that we should have every game. Like, this is why we keep having people burn out on genres, because everything's Call of Duty, everything's Battlefield,
Hmm.
everything's Final Fantasy. It's like, no, let shit be its own thing.
Yeah, if you
Let the
want the thing to be the original thing, then just go back to the original thing. Why do you want to copy and paste?
Exactly. Like, let the means of production be a standard,
Hmm.
but let the artistry be its own
Have its
thing.
own range and stuff, and that's why some things I work like what I was talking about with indie and stuff, and how the three quote unquote biggest indie productions right now with animation has been Laxadaisy and Digital Human Circus, and I noticed that the kind of humor and stuff, or at least the kind of themes and character archetypes they're dealing with, they're kind of samey, or at least the audience that is made for, and it's not made for somebody like me with my personal taste and stuff because the kind of stuff that I like. Um, I recently funded the Kickstarter for The Lovers, you know, that lesbian Filipino sushi anime, that short film
Yeah.
that's coming out. I funded that, and I watched Big Top Burger. That's more my thing.
Big.
And nobody's talking
Oh
about Big Top
yes,
Burger enough.
yes. My wife and I got into Big Top Burger first, and then somehow my wife got into Big Top Burger,
Big Top
and
Burger was how I got into Ao Adebri before she was like in The Bear, because I'm like, wait, she was in here.
mm-hmm.
It's weird watching pieces of media
We
and knowing who an actor is before. before you know who the actor is, because I knew who Patti LuPone was. I didn't know her as a Broadway star, even though that's like her primary claim to fame, right? Because like
Yeah.
I'm not, I like theater, but I don't like theater like that to be knowing people like that. But and I didn't know that she was the voice of Yellow Diamond. I knew her as Vanessa's therapist in season 3 of Penny Dreadful.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just like, wait, this voice is so familiar when I heard her as Yellow Diamond, and I'm like, oh my god, they got a badass on the show.
I ran into a similar one. One of my craziest was, I cannot think of the actor's name, but the guy that plays the old man mentor in Assassin's Creed 3.
Mm-hmm.
I loved. I have a lot of problems with Assassin's Creed 3. But I think his name was Achilles. I loved the character and I loved the voice. That man ended up playing a very like minor but like plot heavy role in an episode of Supernatural. And I remember in college practically jumping out of my chair being like, "That's Achilles! That is I know that voice!"
It's crazy.
And like, it turns out he's like in so many things. He's in so much shit. And I'm like, this makes me so happy that
Mm-hmm.
at any given moment I could hear this voice actor. And I love this man. He's great.
I love recognizing voice actors, but I also hate it because like there are some dubs I can't watch. Like I keep making a reference to this, but I want people to know because it's so important. I cannot watch the English dub of Beastars because the voice of Haru is the voice of Widget from Wow Wow Wubsy, and I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear Widget going through that.
See, this is where that gets fun, right? Because like sometimes I run into that where like I can't erase the where I've heard them elsewhere, and like the voice direction. What quick little quirk about me. I will always blame the voice director before I blame the voice actor.
Mm-hmm.
Just because like I feel like if you don't have someone telling you how to say the line, you can be the greatest voice actor or the greatest actor in the world. If you have no direction, you can't fucking drive a car.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, it's like there are moments where I will hear a voice and I'll be like, I cannot disconnect that this person is someone else.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's also the ones where I get super happy where I can like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, I know this person from this. And then I start analyzing their performance and I'm like, oh shit, I forgot this was such and such for a half second. This is a good performance.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes I'm able like depending on sometimes it isn't the performance itself, but it's their specific tone because even though they can do different accents and stuff, their tone of voice is always recognizable. Like for me, that's how I feel about that's how I feel about Japanese VAs because I can't tell the difference between accent and stuff because I don't speak Japanese, but I can always tell the tone of voice because like you don't understand. You don't understand, Basil. I got gifted a treat when I got into Golden Kamuy because I'm just like, Nanami, is that you? I was gonna cry. And the best part about it, he's one of my favorite characters. So like Nanami is not he's not Nanami. If Ogata, who shares the same VA as Nanami and Jujutsu Kaisen were to meet each other, they would fucking kill each other. It would be a bad day. Like it would be a
It would
bad
be
day.
an entertaining
They,
one though.
I don't even know that. I don't even know that because like I want to see. Like I feel like I'm just thinking about the logistics of a fight. It depends on distance, right? Because one character is a sniper and the other one is a melee. So it depends on how quickly
Mhm.
Nanami can close that distance. But I know if he closes that distance, Ogata is gonna fucking die because he's not good. He's not bad at melee because he's a soldier. He has to be decent at it. But also like
Right.
Nanami is just too good. He's just too good, and he would slaughter him because it's just like why are you beefing with children? He beefed with one. Like I'm not trying to spoil anything, but he beefed with one child because he's got problems that I'm not gonna get into. He's part of the reason why I got into industrial rock. Like I'm already vaguely familiar with industrial music. I know what Nine Inch Nails is. Like I pretty much call industrial music blade music because it's the kind of stuff that would play in a blade movie. Like I always associate industrial music with vampires. But now I'm
Hmm.
just fully dipping my feet in it because somebody made a character playlist based off of Ogatha from Golden Kamuy, and I'm like, huh. This is the one time that I didn't hate the concept of a character playlist because like most character playlists, I kind of shit on because it's just like, what do you mean Narancia from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure would listen to Mitski? No, he's not listening to Mother Mother. He's listening to Tupac and Biggie. Just say that you hate black people. Just say that you're scared. Because he's not listening to Lana Del Rey. Lana Del Rey doesn't even exist yet. Stop! I only like character playlists when I
Ah.
make them because I actually make stuff that makes sense. Yes, I'm egotistical. And the thing is, I make them for my own. Actually, no, I got a playlist for Gojo. But like, I'm just like, yeah, this dude would listen to industrial music because it's just depression and metallic sound. It's depression, metallic sounds, and singing about pussy that you're gonna eat even though you can't get none. It's fine. Fucking Nine Inch Nails. I love making fun of the
That's
lead singer from Nine Inch Nails because like one of his ex girlfriends said that he actually has a 3 inch piece. And ever since I'm like, you know, on top of the fact that he had allegations, so that's why I'm just like, yeah, make fun of him. Make fun of him harder.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
In
No,
this
like
moment
that.
did a better cover of Closer than the original Closer. You can
They're like
never
no matter how talented someone is, if they turn out to be like a piece of shit, it's like yeah, no, like
no make fun of
and
him.
like yeah, it's time to just completely dog on this person
Like I
because
don't dog
fuck
on
them.
people just to do it. I try not to.
I
Emphasis
will
on
make
try, because I can.
someone I if someone my variation of like what I will make fun of or what I will find funny is if it's harmless and it's really not going to affect the person I'm talking shit about, or oh, they're an awful person who has been proven to be something. Yeah, I do not care. I
Yeah,
will
we're
I
gonna
will
have them
make
slaughtered.
jokes.
Have them slaughtered verbally.
Oh god.
I like a lot of industrial music though. It's just that I feel like I can only listen to that shit in the fall. That's just fall music. It has a specific vibe to it. And then I'm like, I didn't
Oh, there.
know that. And some of these bands were bands that I kind of knew about beforehand. Cause like when I say what you were talking about, how you don't listen to artists, you would listen to like a couple of songs for different artists.
Yeah.
Unless it's like pop or neo soul, those are like my two foundational genres that I listen to consistently. I'm the
Mm-hmm.
same way. So like I already vaguely knew the discography. Like I know who. Damn it, I gotta look it up real quick. Give me a minute. Like I know who Type O Negative is because I know about Black Number One. You need to listen to Type O Negative. He's funny as hell.
Type O negative.
um, has anybody ever heard of the show Metalocalypse?
Hell yeah.
Nathan is based off of the lead singer of Type O Negative.
Oh, okay. You know what? I might fuck with this actually.
But you know how I found out about Type O Negative? See, musictism. Because, like, I can remember how I get into music specifically because of, like, associations and shit. So, there's this one dude on YouTube called 10 Second Songs who would do covers of songs in, like, a bunch of different styles. And he did, like, Nightmare Before Christmas in 30 different styles. And he ended it, like, he did a medley of Nightmare Before Christmas songs and different stuff. Or no, he did 30 different songs in the style of Nightmare Before Christmas. So he would like sing Dragula by Rob Zombie, but in the style of the Sandy Claus song, right? And he did the finale with the song Black Number One in the style of like Jack and Sally's song at the end of the movie. I'm like, huh, I'll look it up. Because the specific part, he was just like, loving you is like loving the dead. And it's a long ass song. Like, this motherfucker has some long ass songs. Like,
But
when you
like
listen to
whenever you're
80s
listening
pop
to them
music
and you're
and
in the
this
right
dude,
mood, you're probably not noticing how long they are.
like, actually, I'll play it in the stream right now because I can take away the copyright. Let's go. Because I found a way to get rid of the copyright claim. Let's go. Like, his songs be long as hell. I'm playing Be My Druidess, and this song is inappropriate. A lot of his songs are inappropriate. Like, he got a song called Christian Woman. He is the only person that I think is allowed to make the song, I, to make the joke. I wanted her to call me daddy, but instead she called me father because, to be honest, I personally find that joke very lame because it's overplayed. But like his
Yeah.
specific delivery of it, he's allowed to live. It's like the sea bear from SpongeBob.
I am the literal advocate, the biggest loudest advocate of nothing is original, execution is what matters.
Yeah.
Like you can like it's completely separate reasoning, but this is why I personally love dad jokes because it's like you can hear someone go like, "Aha, I find this rather funny," versus doing the Grinch smile, Jim Carrey style, and being like, "I'm about to make someone hate themselves." There's a whole other feeling to
Me when I'm in hater mode, like sometimes,
it.
I should try to find a way to like make clips of myself just straight up shitting on things, and I'm just playing the Mr. Grinch instrumentals in the background because I feel like that's like peak. But specifically the da 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 da, because like to me that's like peak haterism right there. Because imagine going to somebody's house and stealing all of their groceries because you got a noise complaint. Like, I hate Illumination for what they did to the Grinch. Like, everybody's talking about what they did to the Lorax, and that's bad, right? But y'all understand. The original Grinch was simply a hater. Jim Carrey's Grinch was a hater with capitalist critique. And then you got Illumination. And it's like, what the fuck is this? And it's so sad because, like, they make good stuff. Because, like, Hotel Transylvania was good and should have ended at 2. And the
Mhm.
Despicable Me movies, they're consistently good. I haven't been upset with them, and I think that I also love the soundtrack. Did you hear about Pharrell sneak diss towards Drake in the newest one?
Listen, I knew something was off when I was hearing the song like who will you be tonight? That's the question. And like I'm like going through this, hearing this on TikTok everywhere, and I'm like, what the fuck is this song? Look it up. It's Despicable Me. And I'm like, no, this song is too good. Something's off.
But it but
Something's
but
very
Despicable Me
off.
music is always good because it's Pharrell and Tyler the Creator. Because wasn't it Tyler Creator on the original one was Despicable Me, or was he on the Grinch song? I know he was on the Grinch song, but I thought that he was also on. Give me a minute.
You know, like the
I'm looking
original
it up right now.
Despicable Me.
Yeah, I'm looking it up right now. No, that was Pharrell. All of the Despicable Me themes had to do with Pharrell. The original Despicable Me, Happy, because that was when the minions were being corrupted and turned into the purple things. The Hug Me,
Yeah.
Bring It In. He was on that. Like that's his movie. He
Would
got
you
a
listen
contract.
up, would you?
Hey Meta, we're talking about music, and I'm playing, I'm playing spooky stuff, semi spooky stuff. It's gotten so
I
bad. It's gotten so bad, Basil. I like Ogata Hakinose so much that I'm literally making playlists of this motherfucker to use as a soundtrack for fan fiction that's probably going to take me 3 years to write. It's not going to take me 3 years.
God.
It's just getting started. That's the hard part. I know I want
Oh yeah.
something out of it. I know vaguely what I want is just getting there. It's hard. hard. You don't know how bad it is. I'm literally learning about the history of courtesans in Meiji period Japan. So I can make a smut series that's like character studies of each dude just to do one shots of them, but in the context of like Japanese sex work. I already got a list of dudes that I'm gonna put in this series with tags because I already got a profile on all of them. I literally got you know how in some books or how some fan fictions they're just like how to subtly insult the audience. I'm probably using vocabulary that you are not aware of. So I'm gonna put the definition at the bottom. I'm doing
Keikaku.
I'm doing that. The first chapter is almost done.
Keikaku means plan.
The first chapter is almost done. You heard of Immortal Sugimoto. Now give it up for Insatiable. I'm not playing that song again. What am I playing? I forget that whenever I click on a song on Spotify, it'll replay something. I'm not playing any more industrial music. It's not cold outside yet. It's not cold enough outside. Here I am on the bus, listening to Fall Depression, and it's 98. It's 7 p.m. on Friday. It's 98 degrees. Do you know who Glorilla is?
I know the gorillas, but
Oh,
not who Gorilla is.
okay, so Glorilla, that's her name. She is a prominent female rapper from Memphis, and she had a song where she's like, "It's 7 p.m. on Friday. It's 98 degrees. I ain't got no nigga, and no nigga ain't got me." And everybody's asking her to take those lyrics back because now it's been hot as balls outside. And like, she's really good at manifesting. Like, I remember that one conversation that we had about like black spirituality and stuff. We have a huge thing about speaking things into existence. And like Glorilla,
hmm
like her full name is Gloria Hallelujah, and then I can't remember her last name, so that's why her stage name is Glorilla because that's a shorthand for her first and last name. It's just like, no, God was speaking through you, and you need to take that back. It's too hot. It's too hot outside.
it's just very much like you can't say Beetlejuice's name 3 times.
You can't say
You can't
Candyman,
say
especially if
you
you're in
you
Chicago. They will slaughter you. They will slaughter you.
hmm and you can't say this rapper's full name uninterrupted unless you are ready to bring out the wrath of God.
It's 7 p.m. on Friday. It's 98 degrees, and I'm like, why would you say that?
Uh,
I want to cry.
I kind of love not even kind of I love that bit, just the idea of like the name itself is so powerful you cannot speak it. Shit, like Voldemort ruined that for a while, but like then you get to the genuinely like, wait, hold on, did they just say Ricky Spanish?
Oh God,
Ricky
don't get me
Spanish.
started on Ricky Spanish. I had to be a certain way around my friends when they had a when they would be beefing with somebody,
Mm-hmm.
and then they would say some stuff like that person who shall not be named, or they'll use the pronoun game, and I'm like, do you know how many ops we have? Do you know how little that narrows it down? And they're just like, I don't want to say their name, and I'm like, do you know how pathetic that is? And I would just say it verbatim, like, do you know how pathetic that is? Like, it was just like, well, names have power, and it's just like, yeah, so don't give it any. Use it casually. Because, like, that was the whole
Mm-hmm.
point with Harry Potter, right? Remember how he cursed his own name because he knew that the only one brave enough to say it was Harry? So as soon as Harry said it, he would be found easily? And that's what happens when you stigmatize saying it, right? No. We got too many ops for you to be playing the pronoun game. We don't know enough people with neo pronouns to differentiate. Because one thing,
We
if it was
need
a
you
Neo,
to
then I would know. But
specify.
then even with Neos, like I know about 3 different artists that be using bunny and bun self. So you can't even do that. I notice when it comes to Neo pronouns, a lot of people be using stuff like stars and bunnies. I'm gonna need folks to to branch out a bit, like use some aquatic pronouns. Be like me.
Like I'm
I
gonna I'm
use
gonna
she,
cha-
her.
I'm gonna challenge it even further. Not just aquatic, make it where it's like not even fully sentient. Use like coral and sponge.
But you know, I have seen there was one person who used arson. That was an interesting conversation. That person was insufferable though. It's unfortunate. But like I use see her because like it rhymes with she and I like the pun of it. I'm like
Hmm.
I need more aquatic neo pronouns, please. I'm alone. I'm lonely.
Just in the middle of the ocean. Hello.
Like please. But I'm so sad because I really like Golden Kamuy, but I realized that I can't cosplay anybody from that show.
Right.
Because like I gotta choose between Imperial soldiers and an indigenous culture I'm not a part of.
There is no winning.
There's no winning. I want
This,
to live.
this is why, like, this
And
is like
like,
a key thing about how I feel like there's cosplaying where you're like the right like ethnicity, the right body type, and you can like literally embody the character. And then there's just the fun of essentially doing a very expensive Halloween costume.
mm-hmm.
And I feel like we've gotten to this point where it's like, oh, you can't dress like blah 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 because you're blah. It's like, no, fuck you. Cosplay is literally just grown up Halloween costumes.
Yeah.
Shut up. Let people dress up as long as you're not actually stealing culture.
Mm-hmm. Now, some things I do draw the line with some sexy cosplays I feel like should not exist
Okay, actually, you know what?
because
I was gonna start like asking us to wrap up, and we got to talk about that because that is a contentious topic,
mhm.
and I have hot takes on that too. So please go off.
So like my thing specifically, I feel like children's franchise characters that are children should not have it. And then sometimes I'm gonna be petty and say that it shouldn't exist because nobody can ever do it creatively because it'd be tacky as hell. Like you just put on some thigh highs and call it a day, or if you're a dude, you
Hmm.
just have your shirt off and that's it. Like get out. I'm bored. Learn
Um,
how
uh,
to
so
accessorize. Like lingerie has really gone down. We got to go back to tradition. Like I don't wanna be like that. But when it comes to clothing, no, we got to go back to the tradition. We need pockets. We need people to start bringing back underclothes because I'm tired of folks. People are like, oh my gosh, I'm wearing a bodycon dress and my panty line keeps showing and I don't know why. Because you're not wearing a slip. Look it up. Your grandma was right, but it's hot outside. Yeah, that's why you wear the slip, right? Because the sweat from your ass cheeks is going to give your body contrast a stain. So that's why you put on a slip to protect your outerwear. Please! Everybody wants to be a fashionista, but nobody wants to learn the fucking basics.
oh, so like that's like the same thing of like every guy wants to get like a certain kind of woman, but like we don't know how to wash our own ass. It's like,
It'd be
guys, just
crazy.
you got to like one of the funniest things was like I understand that as a chubbier person, I'm going to have to wash and like do more before I go outside because like my body is just naturally going to have a certain smell or certain things
You're
happen
going
to
you're
it
gonna
by
generate more
existing.
heat and then your rolls are gonna rub against each other. Cause I know I got fat ass. I got
Yeah, 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 yeah,
I got a
yeah.
gumpy. I know how I feel.
So it's like I've had to go through this, and like I've just been like over time, thankfully, like it started with the Black Hokage, but there's been way more and more like male figures on YouTube and whatnot, like talking about like actual male hygiene. And it opened up a lot in my late 20s to the point where now at 31, I discovered what full body deodorant is Jay, it has changed my fucking life.
Awesome.
It is so. I did not know this was a thing. I didn't like. I've thought forever, like, man, I really wish there was like deodorant like that I could put in certain areas that I know like washing doesn't do enough. Like washing sanitizes it, but that's where that ends.
But doing the
And then my
what is it? The refreshing until you could get back to the shower. That's the key.
exactly. And then my wife just came in one day and be like, "Hey, I found this thing called a full body deodorant." And I literally had that my brand
My
moment.
brain. Oh my god. Special eyes.
Look with your special weight, my brand.
I'm so happy because, like, oh my gosh,
Oh,
that's like what's something that I never knew that I needed, but now I buy all the damn time now. Damn. It's not hygiene related though. It's like me, it's food. Like I just keep it in the house. Okay, Japanese barbecue sauce. That was like crack,
oh.
but
See,
I
now
didn't
I'm gonna
feel
have
any
to
more.
try that because I love me some barbecue sauce.
Like I can't remember what brand it is. Like it's got like the, it kind of looks like the, it kind of looks like the, the hot dog octopus thing on there, but then it has like a headband around it and
Yeah.
stuff. You'll find it in the condiment section, but like it's like
Oh,
crack.
that
But I
sounds
didn't feel
cute.
any more talented after using it. You know that one joke
Mm-hmm.
about, that joke about modern day black music being built on, like, okay, we hate Ronald Reagan, but he was a little bit on some stuff. Let's just say
Again, as we started this
this
stream,
man a king of
when the
baby
worst
names.
person you know has a point.
Fraction of a point. There's this one joke that said that the reason why he started putting crack into black neighborhoods was because he was tired of his wife Nancy going to Hollywood and sucking black. Because there's like a whole thing about Nancy Reagan being the throat goat. Like it's verified. It's verified.
That's too good.
I'm like, huh?
Oh
Thousands of people dying because of a terrible marriage. This is like the equivalent.
man,
That's literally just the Battle of Troy. It's just the
it
Trojan
really
War in a
fucking
nutshell.
is. It's just the Trojan War all over again. Oh
I
god.
cry.
It it's so funny. Well, not funny, but like it's so insane to be like growing up with shows like The Boondocks as a kid and having the show literally screaming at me, being like, Ronald Reagan is the devil in my 30s. Wait, Ronald Reagan is actually the worst thing. Hold
Literally.
on. Why does no one talk about this?
Wait, hold on, Basil. I'm sorry, I got distracted because I saw something about Bara.
Uh huh.
I need you to get into Golden Kamuy. Like, I'm preaching. Like, and the reason I it is so I haven't been this hyper fixated on a show since middle school when I got into Black Butler. Do you know how bad that is?
Oh no, trust me. So like, I had friends in college who got me into a lot of stuff. A lot of it was pretty good.
Mhm.
Like the first like 5 seasons of Supernatural
Mhm.
and most of Fairy Tale. Most of Fairy Tale. That's a topic for another day. But then you've got them like, oh, you should watch Black Butler, and the whole time I'm just like,
I'm so sorry.
we would say certain things back then, but the current way of saying is certified lover boy.
Yeah, cause like okay, you know what's sad? Cause I'm into the manga. I need to get caught up with the manga though. It's been a couple of weeks since I've read it. It's been a couple of months
Mm-hmm.
since I've read it. Cause I just read the manga and I don't talk to people because the fandom is weird. But the
That
manga,
you know what?
the sad part about it, the manga itself, it actually deals like it's messy what it seems at first. Cause let's see, And it still has some problems, right? Yana Tabosa is very Orientalist, and I'm like, how are you Japanese and Orientalist? But the thing is, she's Orientalist towards other Asians, and that's the problem. The
Mm-hmm.
other thing is, it's very transphobic in the first couple of chapters dealing with Grell because she was using terms like Okama and stuff, and then using some really bad tropes, and this like comes into the age-old conversation about like BL and non-queer folks consuming it and stuff because it's just like you're getting rich off of doing gay stuff. Because Yana Tabasa was a yaoi writer before she made Black Butler, right? And it's just like you're
Mm.
profiting off of queer themes in your work, and yet you don't know shit about queer people in your area. And then on top of like the dirty jokes when it came to CL and Sebastian, but like there that thing about Black Butler originally supposed to be a yaoi, that is a rumor. Like she and her editor Kay literally had to come out and be like, "Hey guys, shut up. You don't know anything about the behind the scenes unless I share it with you. And what y'all been posting is wrong." And I blame the studio that adapted it because they knew that a lot of yaoi fans were into it, and it's just like, yeah, we're gonna just market it like that so we can get more people. And I feel like that fucked
Yeah.
up a lot of the views of the show because like even though the series it definitely is problematic whenever it comes to like themes of child exploitation, it does handle those themes with a lot of care because you see different
Mm-hmm.
aspects of it throughout the show. Like Book of Circus was when it's just like, oh, they locked in. Like technically they locked in the Red Butler arc with the Jack the Ripper thing, but when it came to like those specific themes of like child exploitation, it's just like, yeah, they locked in. And then you see variations of it as like a recurring theme and stuff throughout the thing. And the reason why I liked Black Butler was because I was going through a British phase at the time. Like I was really into Victorian media because that was like the time that I got into it. That was when Tim Burton's live action Alice in Wonderland came out, and then really loved Corpse Bride and stuff. And then I really liked Victorian fashion and got into Sweeney Todd and and watching Downton Abbey. Even though Downton Abbey that was more like the Edwardian period, like it was a little bit
Mm-hmm.
before World War II, but like getting into like British stuff, but mostly Victorian stuff and sometimes Edwardian and whatnot. So, and then I fell in love with Sebastian, not because of his looks, but because he made lemon meringue pie, and I'm a simple person.
This is how we get people back. It's like, man, they just been like shitting on everyone else's taste while complaining about everyone else shitting on theirs. And it's
No, I
like,
shit
oh
on my
no,
own.
they know, they're aware of
Yeah, because I
themselves.
feel like part of the issue with remember when we talked about associating media consumption with being revolutionary, I feel like a lot of people um, are uncomfortable with the idea of their faves being shit. So they have to come up with reasons to like moralize their interests and stuff. And I'm just like, just say that what you like is shit, and that's okay. Because like, okay,
Yeah,
one of my favorite characters of all time is Homelander, but I'm not gonna whoopify him because he's a literal
right.
white supremacist. What the hell do I look like? I'm a black person with
Yeah.
too much self-respect. What do I look like?
Well, and then in my area, like going back to FF14, it's just like so many people are gonna say like, "Oh, the game's poorly designed" and blah blah blah. It's like
Okay.
I'm not gonna fight you. Like, yeah, like the hardcore content is massively flawed. Meanwhile, tee dual sword pirate go burr, and it's fun.
Hmm.
Like I'm aware of what I'm
I'm
here
a hu-
for.
I'm a huge Jujutsu Kaisen fan, but I also
Mm-hmm.
shit on it on the daily because it's just like, what do you mean you got queer baited? What do you mean?
Yep.
I'm sorry, but like Gojo is literally my favorite character, but I regularly call him a bum because he is.
People, no, they're gonna call me in a minute. Love you too.
Uh,
I know it's
you love
awful. We're
your
so
wife,
gay. I know it's so
lame
gay.
ass.
I do need to go ahead and wrap up here on my end,
Yeah, you gotta
so I
leave
can
and go
spend
be a
time with
family
my
man.
wife. Yeah, I gotta go be a family
Dun,
man.
dun, dun, dun,
Jay,
dun,
I
dun, dun,
am
dun, dun.
so. You know what? No, this was a mistake. I hate that we ever did this. Get the fuck out of my tavern. Why did we do this? I appreciate that we had time to come together. We by no means stayed on topic, but at the same time, this was so much fucking fun.
This really was. It was a nice way to let off steam.
Oh yeah, and then like I was listening to yours, I'm just like, man, I don't have nearly anything worth talking about. Then we get to the
Yes, you
one point where
do.
it's like, no, it's my turn. I have something.
Say something.
But thank you for being here. Do you want to shout out to the people watching on my end where they can find you?
Yeah. And I'll also shout you out. Let me remember
Yeah.
I almost forgot I gotta write down like and then damn it, how do you type this out? Okay, give me. Actually, let me make sure that I typed it out correctly because I'll type out the word and then I don't have all of the capitals right. Okay, so it's all lowercase. It's all lowercase. That's the problem. But how I was kind of into Black Butler, right? I really like historical fiction and hot men.
The men
It's got so
characters are
much
pretty attractive. I'm
bara.
gonna
I
I
know what the
agree. I
author
agree.
is. Now, see, I'll get queer baited by Golden Kamuy before I'll get queer baited by a seinen. I would get queer baited by a seinen before I would get queer baited by a shonen. If that makes any sense.
Uh
I'll get queer baited by a seinen before I'll get queer baited by a shonen.
Honestly, that makes sense and is very valid.
And it's just like
Um
the bara. I know what the author is. He said that his favorite character is
but yeah,
literally the
do you
character with the
wanna
biggest titties. And
do you
he's a big ass hairy man. I know what you are.
do you wanna shout out to where they can find you and what you do?
Yeah. Okay. So this has been Jayla Cephidae. The this has been or wait. Shout out to what? Oh, where to find me?
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean? Like, you want me to sign off a certain way?
No, it's like where do they find you? What are you doing? Any projects or anything that you want people to know about?
Let's see. What is something that I'm doing right now besides that one commission that I'm struggling with? I gotta tell Damien. My file got corrupted. Oh, okay. Something that I'm working on. Do I actually have time to work on something? Oh yeah, I'll get better at drawing dudes. I'm gonna actually look at that list of dudes that I wrote down. Because remember when I showed up in your DMs and it's just like, hey, want to be a test run? I'm actually gonna get there because my work schedule changed. So, go to my Twitter.
All right. All I'm saying is just get my good side. It's all I request.
I feel like every side is good. You're too wonderful of a person.
Hey, don't gas me up too much. My ego is already massive, like my fucking head.
I think that that is important, especially during times like these. We have to be a little bit egotistical. Just be kind about it. It's fine.
Yeah, like be kind, be a little self-aware.
Hmm.
I'm looking forward to seeing your growth because the for the while that I've known you, I have seen genuine like shift of how your art was years ago before I knew you,
Hmm.
and then like where it is now, and I'm like, oh, I love this. I love seeing like how the art has evolved.
Thank you. I remember how it was exactly 1 year since I drew a guy, and I was just like, damn. Cause like the first time that I did a full on illustration of a dude was when I drew fan art of Yamu Umai, and then Atlas asked me to do Pillarman art of like him and Pharaoh and Senju, and I'm like, God damn it, Atlas. Thank you for believing in me. And after 2.5
However,
agonizing months, I'm like, huh, it's been exactly 1 year since I've drawn a dude. And now I've drawn three.
But if I can go ahead and sign off on my end, I am
Hmm.
Basil, not the herb.
I'm also gonna
I
sign
do a
off.
lot of. So what?
I'm also gonna sign off. I'm gonna be
Yeah.
responsible.
Yeah. Basil Not the Herb. You can catch me on platforms like YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and Blue Sky on any combination of Basil Not the Herb or Basil NTH. I do a lot of RPGs, a lot of story focused stuff. I am not immune to gotcha. I am definitely into a handful of gotcha RPGs that kind of have me by the throat. But you'll be seeing me playing a lot of games, trying to get a lot of my backlog, which is full of indie games, and just making really silly videos and clips, sometimes ranting, sometimes just having a good time. It's what I'm primarily focused on doing for myself and others. Thank you all for being here. Stay wonderful and have a good night.
You too. Also, this has been
Yeah.
Jayla Cephidae. I am a jellyfish mutant VTuber who likes to do media analysis, aka talking shit, while gaming and drawing. And I hope y'all have a good night. Stay above the water.
Ooh, I like that.